Biodiversity?
I can't recollect it.
Okay, not an issue. Just tell me what is the, just break up. Whenever you fail to understand the meaning of a word, especially in science, just break up the word. What is the meaning of bio?
Bio is the things which can get decomposed.
No, very simple. Bio means life.
Living like living organisms or
Yes,
living things.
yes, living organism. So anything which is living has got life, right? So in short, we'll say bio means life. And what is the meaning of diversity? Yes, Priscilla?
Can I tell, ma'am?
Yes, please go ahead.
So biodiversity means like different living beings in a forest.
Different, yes. So diversity, the meaning of diversity is different, varied, different. Or you can also say varied, various. So basically there are different kinds of living organisms living in a forest, and that's known as biodiversity of a forest. Is that clear? Arna, is that clear
Yes, ma'am.
now? Yeah,
Yes,
so basically when you say biodiversity, biodiversity means different kinds or various kinds of living organisms living in a given habitat. In this case, the habitat is a forest. Okay? All right. So when we say biodiversity, forests have a huge biodiversity. So Unmana, can you tell me what is the biodiversity that a forest has? Which biodiversity are we talking about?
Ma'am, I think like they are talking about like the animals and the plants that that live in the forest, different kinds of animals and plants.
Of course. So what are the different kinds of animals and plants that we are talking about in a forest?
For animals like lion, tiger, snakes, and like different kind of like there are many. So like tiger, lion, snakes, plants also, different kinds of trees. So they are like living organisms. Like they are the biodiversity found in forest.
Correct. Very good. So Unmana, you're from Assam, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're from Assam. So you know this is the name of the forest there? Kaziranga. The Kaziranga National Forest in Assam, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in the Kaziranga National Forest, what do you find? You find elephants,
Rhinos.
right? You find boars, wild boars. You find rhinoceros. There will be various kinds of plants also there. There would be different kinds of insects. There would be a huge variety of birds. There would be certain water bodies which will have various kinds of fishes and other aquatic animals and birds. You know, there would be certain microorganisms which are just specific to that place or specific to that Kaziranga Reserve Forest. Out of those microorganisms, a few will fall into the plant kingdom, a few will fall into the animal kingdom. But we are counting that these are all, lives, living organisms. Under plants, there could be a eucalyptus plant, there could be banyan plant, there could be people, there could be, whatever, different types of wild trees, berries. Insects could be stick insects, various kinds of butterflies, moths, silkworms. Birds could be myna, cuckoo, different kinds of kingfisher, crows, wild birds. Fishes could be of various types. Similarly, various types of animals and plants which are of a microorganisms. So this all of them put together, so all of them put together will form the biodiversity of a forest. Bio means life, yeah, and diversity means various kinds of living organisms living in a given habitat is known as biodiversity. Now, even amongst plants, you will get autotrophs, you will get chemotrophs, You will get saprotrophs. You will get insectivorous plants. You will get parasitic plants. Right? So even under plants, you will find so many different kinds. Now, within autotrophs, you will find various kinds of species. In chemotrophs, you will find various kinds of species. Even in elephants, you would find different kinds of elephants, different species of boars, white boars, black boars, which will have shorter limbs, rhinoceros, which will be white rhinoceros, which will be black rhinoceros, gray rhinoceros, right? So the species are varied. There are varied species, various species. That's the biodiversity of a place, of a forest. Understood? Okay. Now, each and every plant and animal or microorganism or the bird or the insect that we had discussed, all of them will have a very close relationship with each other. Why do they need to have a close relationship with each other? Priscilla?
Ma'am, because they have an interrelationship or like they depend on each other in the food chain.
Very good. Excellent. Because they have to depend on each other on the food chain. For example, if there are various kinds, species of birds, and there are various species of snakes, and there are various species of, insects, and there are a different, at least 70 to 80 species of frogs, right? So the frogs will have to have insects. The snakes will have frogs. A few birds like maybe peacock or vulture will have snakes. So they are all interrelated. The insects like grasshoppers will have to have some plants. So they are all interrelated with each other. The snake can have a rat. The rat will have insects. So, this is how a web chain or a food web is formed. So they're all interrelated with each other. Correct? Okay. Now, for example, the plants that I was discussing, right? There could be various kind of plants, right? There could be neem, fig, hair, bamboo. There would be different various kinds, especially, if you go towards the northeastern region, you will find a lot of bamboo groves, bamboo forests, which would just wildly grow there. There's nobody to even plant bamboo or, the particular kind of agriculture for bamboo is not being done. But in spite of that, there would be a huge proliferation of bamboo. Because, they have their own biome, they will get their own nutrients, right? So they will grow in a very natural way, right? So there will be a lot of forest plants which will grow on its own. Then there would be a set of animals very particular to that region. For example, there is a certain kind of jackal, right, which will be very specific to maybe a forest in Kodaikanal. Right? If there's Kodaikanal and if there's a forest, I'm just giving you an example, right? So this particular jackal will be very specific to the Kodaikanal forest, to the Kodaikanal habitat, okay, which are very specific to that one particular area. Correct? So there would be certain plants, there would be certain animals, certain microorganisms which would be very specific to that particular area.